Let's be honest, Chris was being a huffy bitch and it was time for him to go. Love Island All Stars on Friday and Sunday was episode 24 and 25, and all Chris done was moan. And I understand that he was upset that Joanna left and he really liked her, but everybody else was at least thankful that they get kept there. And the way he was just strutting about the house like a huffy wee bitch, like I couldn't wait for him to go at that point. Like I did agree with the fact that she was trying to actually meet people and get real connections, and that maybe they should have voted him out instead. But just the way he was going about it was annoying the fuck out of me. They brought in the new bombshell, Adam, who I don't think I watched this season. If I did, I don't remember him. He was in the house for hardly any time. It looked as if he was in the house for about 20 minutes before they told him to choose. And when he got up there, I thought that he was going to pick Molly originally, but then he picked Arabella, and it was time for Chris to go. And he did look gutted, but I thought to myself, why are you so sad? All you've done for the past 24 hours is bitch and moan that you're still in the house without Joanna. When Chris left the house, they did the small interview at the end, and Maya was saying to him, oh, I know that you fancied Joanna before she came into the house. And he said, I liked her for quite some time. I fancied her for about 4 years. But when Sophie came in as well, he says to Arabella that he'd fancied Sophie for years as well. Honest to fuck, man, I think this guy just fancies anything. So last night there was a bit of drama when Callum went to Sophie and said that he should speak to one of the twins. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the other twin. I know that one's called Eve. And considering that I've did all these videos this whole time without any notes, I think I've done quite well. And I can't remember what twin Casey was saying. But Callum went to Sophie and says, just have a word with her and make sure she's okay, because he's saying that he just hasn't felt the spark yet. Now, personally, I know that he was just trying to look out for her feelings, but then when Sophie went straight to the twins and she was like, oh, Casey says that he wasn't feeling a spark, like the way it was done, it was just quite like gossipy and nasty, and I don't know, like the whole thing just got totally blew out of proportion. This is actually totally random as well, but when I was watching Callum last night, I noticed how many grey hairs he's got. Like, not in a bad way, right? But I've been watching this for weeks, and I have not once noticed that he's got grey hair. I don't know if he's been dyeing his hair or what, but last night it was just, that's all I could notice. So when Sophie went to the twins and told them that Casey said that he hadn't felt a spark yet, the one that he's seeing totally blew it out of proportion, right? I thought, she is a fucking psycho, right? Like, I understand that her feelings were hurt and maybe she was embarrassed because her sister was there, her best friend was there, and she probably really likes Casey for whatever reason, even though he seems like a pure skis bag. But just the way it was handled, I thought, no, she's not mentally stable. Like, she got Casey up onto the terrace, and everybody could hear what they were saying, right? Obviously, maybe they didn't know that everybody was like really sitting listening, but everybody could clearly hear. And then when she asked Casey, it was just, she didn't even ask him. She blatantly accused him. She was like, oh, you said this. She didn't even like calmly speak to him and say, oh, this is what I heard. Like, would you like to explain? And he was just calmly like, oh, I just said I hadn't felt a spark yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to come or whatever. Now, I have went out with people in the past that I've met and I have hated, right, for months. And I've not been interested in them at all. And then as time goes on, you start to like them as a friend, and then as time goes on, maybe you fancy them. And then all of a sudden you feel a spark. It's not like, oh, hi stranger, I've known you for 3 days, let's get married. The way she was acting was totally out of order. And then when she called Callum up to the terrace, it was like, Cam, can you come up here for a second? And he sat down because he thought he was going to get involved in the conversation. And when she says to him, oh, did Casey say this? And he said no. And she's like, okay, you can go. Like, just dismissing him like a child. I'd have been like, I just fucking hauled my ass up the stairs for you. Don't speak to me like a fucking idiot. So Anton's downstairs eating his popcorn. He's so funny. Like, see when he's listening to gossip or if he's confused, everything shows on his face. And he's sitting eating his popcorn, like doing all these faces. I was pissing myself at him. And then Georgia H and that, they were all like hanging down listening. It was actually quite funny. But just the way that twin reacted, it was actually quite embarrassing, to be honest. Like, when she looks back on that, she's probably going to regret handling it the way she did. Then it was time for the public vote for the least favourite couples. I was watching this with my friend and I says, right, it's going to be Sophie and Josh, Casey and that twin, and then it's either going to be Anton and Georgia H or Georgia S and Toby. I wasn't sure between the two. But the reason that I picked Sophie and Josh is because the way Sophie talks, right, and I know that like I've got a weird accent, people don't understand me, I've got a high pitched voice and all that. But the way Sophie speaks is so like it just does something in my brain. And it's the same with the twins. They do this thing when they're speaking as if they've got something stuck in here, and it's like every word is so dragged out, and you're like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why does every sentence have to take 5 minutes? Like, I didn't even realise how bad it was until the three of them were sitting talking, and me and my friend were sitting looking at each other like, why are they mimicking each other the way they speak? And he says it's because their lips are that full that their mouth doesn't move properly. And I was like, no, it's actually coming from in here. And then they're just dragging out their words. Like, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but it was just really fucking annoying. But anyway, that was why I thought people would pick Sophie and Josh. And then I thought maybe Anton and Georgia H, because people are still not sure if they like each other. And then I thought they're going to pick Georgia S and Toby because people just fucking hate Georgia S. She's a psycho. Do you know what, actually? Let me know in the comments if you actually like Georgia S, because I don't know anybody that likes her. And then when I've seen clips of her on other shows as well, she's actually so much worse than what she comes across on Love Island. It's insane. But anyway, the public ended up voting for Casey and the twin that he was seeing. And it was like, well, not really much of a loss. The two of them had obviously just had an argument. And then when they went out and they were getting their interview, she said that she didn't regret picking him because there was nobody else in the house that she was interested in, which was fair enough. But obviously it's coming up to the end of the series, and I really, really, really wish that they had Casa more, because it's just not the same without it. Another thing that I wanted to talk about before the end of the video actually is Arrabella. She's been paired up with Adam and she's so enthusiastic about it, right? She's like, oh, he's lovely, like, there's no doubt that she fancies him, but she's like, oh, I can wrestle me anytime and all that. Like, fair enough, but there's something not right, because when she was paired up with Chris, she seemed to really like him, and I genuinely think that out of everybody he's been paired up with in this season, she liked him the most. But then he's got a wandering eye and he can't fucking keep it in his pants. So she's really fancying this Adam, right? But she really liked Chris. But she really liked Toby. Like, this has only been a short space of time. And I understand that when you're in these situations, a day can feel like a week because you've got no music, no TV, you've got nothing else to do. So it drags in. But she's just so keen for this Adam guy that I don't know if it's a game plan. I don't know if it's like, I'm just going to like every guy that I'm paired up with. To be fair, she didn't do it with Callum, right? But I feel like every guy that she's paired up with, she's like, oh, he's so nice and blah, blah, blah. And is it just a tactic to win? Let me know what you think. So as this show's coming to an end, they've announced that Celebrity Big Brother's coming on next month. Now, I fucking love Big Brother, right? And I will be covering that every day as well. But I heard on the radio that either somebody who's in the Love Island house or who's recently just left is going to be in the Celebrity Big Brother house. And I'm like, no. Right? These people are not celebrities. I understand that they put D-list celebrities in all the time, but it just really annoys me because it's like, their show is done. We're moving on. It's the same as when they put people in for Gogglebox, right? Now, don't get me wrong, if I was on a show like that and they says to me, oh, do you want to be on Celebrity Big Brother? I'd be like that, fuck aye. Right? But it just annoys me because I follow Henry from Big Brother. I don't think he's a celebrity. I don't know, it just kind of annoys me a wee bit, but anyway, let me know what you think. Are you excited about Celebrity Big Brother coming on?